Welcome back. Panel is here. Former Democratic Congresswoman Stephanie Murphy of Florida. Markos Moulitsas, the founder of the Daily Kos. Former Republican Governor Pat McCrory of North Carolina. And Danielle Pletka, a senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute. Well, let me start with the visual that I think will live for quite some time, and that is the show of hands on Donald Trump. Let's play it again.
If former President Trump is convicted in a court of law, would you still support him as your party's choice? Please raise your hand if you would.
Danny Pletka, it was a moment, especially it like cascaded like a wave. And it was sort of like the most enthusiastic was Vivek. That's not surprising. And then everybody else. It was this reluctance.
Well, there was that Christie weird hand signal thing. And look, I do see it slightly differently because they all went onto that stage having made a pledge that they would support the party's nominee. Right? So
Never did say that they had to support a convicted felon in that pledge.
The party's nominee, there's no asterisk there that says he can't have a mugshot, right? So I feel for them in the sense that they were sort of like, none of them wanted to raise their hand except Vivek, right? None of them wanted to, but I think they all felt like they had to.
Pat, how did Vivek end up the center of attention? I don't understand that game theory because leaving DeSantis alone seemed to be, you know, if you're everybody else truly trying to actually get to Trump, you have to go through DeSantis.
I'm a big Eagles fan, and their famous song, The New Kid in Town, it applies in politics too. And he's the new kid in town, and he wants to get as much attention as possible. And he'll say and do anything to get that attention. And he fulfilled that objective. But he also had some previous new kids in town who now have some maturity, some political maturity, like Chris Christie, Pence, and also Nikki Haley. And they went, we're not going to put up with this. And that was a tough debate decision because the more they jump on him, the more attention he gets. But they drew him out. I mean, he's almost from a foreign policy perspective, he's the Neville Chamberlain. He's not Ronald Reagan.
Well, but did they draw him out, or were they really trying to attack Donald Trump?
He's asking for revolution.
Right? No. Was this the other candidates? Because I've got the equivalent of punching your couch cushion. You can't attack Donald Trump, so they're going to attack Vivek.
I don't know. That's an interesting theory. I actually hadn't thought about that. I don't think most of them wanted to attack him. I think he just got on their nerves. He was so freaking obnoxious. He was this little chihuahua biting at their ankles, and he finally couldn't take it anymore. Who is this? I mean, can you imagine somebody who admitted he hadn't even thought about foreign policy until 6 months ago, mansplaining to Nikki Haley, who was the UN ambassador, about foreign policy? I mean, they just couldn't help themselves. That's what I think.
Stephanie, what did you say?
You know, I think that he embodied exactly what the Harvard University calls him the section guy. Josh Barrow wrote about this. He's the guy who speaks in class incessantly but doesn't say anything of merit or of substance. And everybody can't stand him, but they kind of have to still be on his good side because one day he's going to be running for public office. And here he is running for president.
Danny, what does it say that this guy successfully hacked his way into the center stage of the party this easily? Just that the information ecosystem just sort of olayed him to center stage?
I think that is exactly the right question to ask. And look, I have a Vivek-style answer, a glib answer for you. Look, everything has become like reality TV. This is how we ended up with the guy who kept saying, "You're fired," and everybody was like,
so he's
"Oh my
Kardashian.
God." Exactly. There's no accountability in politics. Right? He can say whatever he wants. And if he said something different the day before, no one cares because he's there and he believes
he's entertaining you in the moment.
And he's entertaining you exactly in the moment.
He called everyone.
But, you know, some voters did want to see some toughness. Look what happened. You know, a lot of times candidates want to tell us, oh, nobody asked us about Trump on the trail. Here's Tim Scott on the trail being asked by a Republican about Donald Trump. Watch this.
You're not standing toe-to-toe with somebody who you don't accept as
we
the
actually
president.
disagree on the foundation, the premise of the question, the problem. And the premise of the question is, why don't you stand up to Trump? You're just wrong that I don't. That's
I've never heard you. I didn't hear you the other night stand up and say, I can't accept him as president.
Do you want to have a conversation or do you want to have a monologue? So I'm happy to listen, but if you want to have a dialogue, I'll be speaking as well.
Pat, that escalated quickly. I was stunned that Tim Scott sort of almost went after the voter. The voter didn't seem like he was being angry.
He knew he was being filmed, and he also knew he didn't want to irritate the Trump base.
Wow.
And listen, I'm an example of that. I had a 30-point lead at one time in a U.S. Senate race, and the minute Trump went against me, I dropped. That's the power of Donald Trump. And the interview you did earlier with the new kid in town, he's talking about a revolution. While in the same interview, he also said he's going to change the tone. I mean, that's within 48 hours.
Stephanie, you represented one of the swingiest districts of the country. What are people hearing?
Well, one, I think that was like a mistake. I mean, you never engage with your voters that way on camera or not. I mean, that's just like a rookie mistake in engaging with voters. But in a swing district, I think they are really wondering why we're faced with these two options. And this debate was sort of separate from what the presumptive nominations are going to be for both parties. We're a country of 300 million people, and we don't have better alternatives.
I want to bring up one other thing about our Iowa poll that was stunning, because I think it tells us the way the Republican Party has changed. Let me show you what the makeup of the Iowa caucus, the Republican caucus electorate was in 2016. It was 50-50 slight advantage male, 52%, 48%. According to our poll that we released this week, the likely Republican electorate is now 61% male, 39% female. This is the Trump effect. Whatever we want to talk about it, this appears to be the Trump effect, does it not, Danny?
Well, that more men are turning out, but I think it's interesting that you don't have any breakdown there, so I don't know what the racial makeup. I don't know what the racial makeup is.
It's the same. This is Iowa. It's all the same except for gender. Everything else is the same on ideology, on college education. We are seeing more men identify as Republicans and more women not.
Well, that's something that the Republican Party needs to deal with, because there are a lot of women in this country.
And we just had the summer of Barbie and Taylor Swift tour. I mean, women are having a moment in this country where they have an economic impact. They are having a voice, and they're going to want to go to the polls and reflect that.
Right, that's why I thought Nikki Haley did a good job in presenting that face.
She potentially has room to grow if she can somehow get women to show up.
So there's a lot of, everybody's afraid of going after Trump, right? But if you look at primary polling, Trump's around 52%. Half of the party isn't aboard. Now, if there's 10 people splitting the rest of the vote, that's a problem. But if you can consolidate.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.